I don't think we're ever going to get a president like this. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Whether you love President Trump or you hate him, you will never get this again. He literally went to the Federal Reserve and confronted Jerome Powell, right? Because he's been demanding that Jerome Powell step down because he won't cut rates. We know what's going on with that. And he literally went to the exact building of the new Federal Reserve building that is allegedly was costing only $2.5 billion. But guess what? Trump got the receipts that it cost way more. And he's just confronting Jerome Powell. He does not like this guy whatsoever. He actually went to him and brought the press with him. He went to the Federal Reserve to confront him face to face. You guys have got to see this. This is one of the craziest videos right now on the internet. We'll never get another guy, another man, another president like this. I promise you, this is crazy. Let's take a listen.
I think we hear the president. Let's tune in.
With the chairman, as you know. Chairman, come on over. And we're just taking a look at what's happening. You know, it's a tough construction job. They're building basements where they didn't exist or expanding them, and a lot of very expensive work. There's no question about it. And Tim has been with me for a long time, and you're in charge of the committee.
Indeed. One of the reasons I wanted to see it was the overruns of the expenses, wanted to figure out why.
We'll have to figure out why, but I just want you to look throughout this video. Look at the Fed chair's face. Look at Jerome Powell's face. He's looking down. He cannot believe this. Like, he is sick right now.
So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about 3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
He's pulling out the receipts. He's pulling out the receipts.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well. 3.1, 3.2.
This came from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added
entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a third building. Is what that is. That's a third building.
Well, no, but it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work.
But it's
So,
not new.
So we're going to take a look. We're going to see what's happening, and it's got a long way. Do you expect any more additional cost overruns?
Don't expect them. We're ready for them, but we have a little bit of a reserve that we may use, but no, we don't. We expect to be finished in 2027. We're well along, as you can see.
Nice to take these off every once in a while when we're not under too much danger. So, any questions?
Mr. President, does the issue give you any?
As a real estate developer, what would you do with a project manager who would be over budget?
Generally speaking, what would I do? I'd fire them.
Do you think this issue, Mr. President, gives you cause to do that?
Well, I'm here just really with the chairman. He's showing us around, showing us the work. And so I don't want to get that. I don't want to be personal. I just would like to see it get finished. And in many ways, it's too bad it started. But it did start. And it's been under construction for a long time. It's going to be a real long time, because it looks like it's got a long way to go.
Yes, sir.
So,
President, are there things the chairman can say to you today that would make you back off some of the earlier criticism?
well, I'd love him to lower interest rates. Other than that, what can I tell you? The country's doing really well. I just briefed the chairman on the deal we made with Japan. Japan is putting up $550 billion in order to lower their tariffs a little bit.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Trump confronts him on lowering the interest rate. There's something that Trump does as a man. Comes a moment, right? You heard the entire conversation. We have of course, Senator Tim Scott, and he's overseeing this whole operation. So Trump is going over there. He is confronting the Fed chair, but he does something, in my opinion, that is the best part of this, right? Because the reporters ask him is there anything you would want from Jerome Powell, from the Fed chair. He taps him hard on the back. Look at this.
Well, I'd love him to lower interest rates.
Lower interest rate. Bow. Here you go. Lower the interest rates. You're my son. You are my son. Well, anyways, for those who don't know, this goes way back, right? This whole thing is pretty crazy to see that Trump actually went over there to confront him in front of everybody. on. That's one thing about Trump. It's like he'll criticize you, and he'll criticize you right directly in your face. But basically, Justin, disgraced Fed chair Jerome Powell, who you just saw, has just been sued and accused of purposely keeping interest rates high to undermine President Trump's agenda. That's why Trump is there, right? He's been sued. Trump has been calling him out, right? They're building this building, 2.5, 2.7, $3.1 billion. But Trump says getting ready. This is before he headed toward him, getting ready to head over to the Fed to look at their now $3.1 billion plus construction project. Also present will be the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, Senator Tim Scott, Senator Tom Tillis, OMB Director Ross Vaught, and Chairman Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Bill Polt, and my appointees to the National Capital Planning Commission, James Blair and Will Scharf, and various construction professionals. They all went there to go do the math on this. But again, Jerome Powell is being sued because he does not want to cut interest rates. We spoke about how important it would be. One of the main reasons he doesn't want to cut interest rates is because he claims that inflation, and again, inflation has not gone any up. Inflation is cooler. It's not coming in hot. It's actually cool. It's actually low. And they predicted, and all these professionals predicted, that because of the tariffs, you can't cut interest rates because inflation will skyrocket, and inflation is not. And Trump has kept calling for inflation, has kept calling to cut the rates because inflation is fake news at this point, right? You can't keep making this about inflation when in reality, this has nothing to do with inflation as a whole. But let's take a deeper look at Jerome Powell and the fact that not only was he confronted, but there is a lot going on with him. And the fact that Trump did this, I want to put into perspective how big what Trump just did really is by calling out the Fed chair. Take a listen.
Welcome back. Now, there's Azoria Capital filing a lawsuit today against Federal Reserve Chairman Jay Powell, alleging that the central bank is violating transparency law. The suit in part says this: Azoria believes the Federal Reserve is violating federal transparency law, and we are asking a federal judge to immediately block next week's Federal Reserve meeting from happening behind closed doors. Azoria is demanding the court order that the Fed to keep the meeting open as the company sounds the alarm on recent policy decisions, saying Azoria is deeply concerned that the FOMC under Chairman Powell is maintaining high interest rates to undermine President Donald J. Trump and his economic agenda. Joining me now is the CEO himself, Azoria CEO James Fishback. James, thanks very much for being here. So you think this is all political?
I do, Maria. Good morning. The truth of the matter is that inflation is now at a 4-year low under President Trump's leadership. 5 consecutive better than expected, lower than expected inflation readings. And the Federal Reserve refuses to lower rates from a 20-year high. That is a life-altering decision that affects Americans all over the country. They can't get a mortgage. They can't get a home. They can't start or grow their family. Azoria is now suing Jerome Powell in federal court this morning to demand that next week's meeting be open to public observation as federal transparency law requires.
Well, I mean, they always have meetings behind closed doors. So this meeting next week is no different than any other meetings, though.
Well, the fact of the matter is, the fact that they've always broken the law does not excuse them from breaking the law. There's a couple Supreme Court precedents that have moved in our favor, specifically the overturning of the Chevron doctrine. But I got to tell you the truth, Maria, Americans are frustrated. They do not understand why Jerome Powell is being too late. They don't understand that despite inflation being at a 4-year low, that the Federal Reserve is refusing to lower rates.
That is the whole point. That's why Trump has gone directly to the man himself. He's been talking about this for some time. But again, Trump's agenda really can't go if these rates are just way too high. You know what I'm saying? I bought my house, but I'm gonna be very honest with y'all. The rates on this house are ridiculous. The rates on every house in Texas, at every house across the country, the rates are just extremely high. And not only are the rates high, whether you also have, you know, property taxes and stuff like that, and all these taxes that were being charged already. So right now, being an American is really expensive. Like, it really is. And this guy right here is undermining Trump's agenda by not cutting the rates as a whole. And Trump wants to, look, Trump has flirted around with ending the Fed. The Federal Reserve is just a scam at this point. Many people would argue that with me as well. So Let me know what you guys think about this. What a video. What a time to be alive, where Trump goes directly to the head of the monster who does not want to cut interest rates, confronts him on this new building of the taxpayers are going to be paying for, and just so happens that they're spending additional money. Yeah, things are getting pretty crazy here in politics.